It ain't crumble cookies and buzz balls anymore. My I'm sorry. I didn't even have that scripted. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. If you are returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking around. I really appreciate you. So, first thing, that's arguably probably the most important update of this entire video. I got a new camera, baby. I don't know if you can tell, but I can tell, and I'm so excited. For my camera nerds out there, I switched from a Nikon D5600 that my dad got me when I was in college, and that's what I had been filming on for the entirety of my channel, to a Canon EOS R8. So big updates, like quite huge updates. I'm so excited. I've wanted a new camera for a really long time because I also really like hobby photography, and my old gal was great. Like, she was awesome, but I just wanted something new, especially for this. And I can't wait until I have like a designated filming space so I can make the background all cute and like actually use my camera and my lenses and stuff to like their fullest ability. But I'm so excited to be here, guys. We did it. We're making moves. I can now film for 2 hours at a time instead of 20 minutes. So that in itself is a huge upgrade. Anyways, the reason you're here, I don't think a lot of you really care about the camera, but I do, and so I want to talk about it. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about Girl World today because things truly just keep happening that I feel are worthy of these like recap videos. And normally I would do my makeup in these and we'd have like a cute little gossip, like kiki kind of session. But the things that we're going to talk about today are pretty serious, and it just felt weird to like talk about it in kind of like a gossipy, geeking, let's do our makeup together, like a sleepover kind of way. And so today my makeup's already done and I'm just sitting here. But that's all I wanted to cover in the intro, so let's just get to it. But before we get into today's video, I want to tell you about what is quite possibly my favorite thing on my computer, or at least one of my favorite things, Opera Browser. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did not know what Opera Browser was before they reached out to me, I think back in May, to work with them for the first time. But ever since we worked together on that, it has been my browser. Like, I have not used any other browser besides Opera ever since then. It really optimizes my internet browsing experience, and it helps me stay organized, and more importantly, it helps me stay on task. And Opera recently rolled out a new and improved updated version of their browser, which is called Opera One R2. And Opera One R2 offers elevated music and video playback, new tab functionalities, and dynamic themes for a super modern and customizable browsing experience. One of my favorite features of Opera, just hands down, is always the player that they've had, the media players that they've had. For music, you can choose between 6 different music streaming services like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Deezer, Tidal, and SoundCloud. And the video player pop-out for me has been a game changer because I am watching things, but I am like flipping flopping through a bunch of different other things while watching videos, right? And as an artsy fartsy type, I have to mention the new themes that Opera One R2 offers, because you can truly customize them to really fit whatever vibe you may want for your browser. And there's also a new split screen feature, which has also been a game changer for me when I am scripting and researching videos. Overall, Opera has been my go-to browser because of its ability to keep me organized and on task while I'm working, which is like so valuable for my brain and how it works. So if you'd like to give Opera a whirl for yourself, be sure to use the link down below in my description. There's even more features than I mentioned here, and I'm sure you will love them. So yeah, thank you so much to Opera for sponsoring today's video, and thank you as always to you guys for continuing to interact with my content so that brands like Opera want to keep working with me, because it truly helps me more than you'll ever know. It helps me buy new cameras for filming and things like that. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Now let's just get back into the video. So before I start talking about anything, I just want to say, because I get comments on this when I talk about these things all the time, and everybody's like, why do you keep calling her Tommy? Her name's Emily. And I know Tommy's name is Emily, okay? I was just introduced to her as Tommy, so that's why I keep calling her Tommy. In this video, I will probably keep alternating between the two, to be honest, because when I was scripting, that's what I did. But yeah, I just want you to know, I know Tommy's real name is Emily. I know Emily is Tommy. Tommy is Emily, whatever, okay? But I'm kind of breaking this down into like 3 sections now that I'm looking at it. And we're gonna be talking about 3 different topics. One is like just where we're at from where we left off and Amberlynn's mental health updates. And then we're gonna talk about the rumors and allegations surrounding Emily. And then we are going to talk about the stuff with Rarity, Amberlynn's cat. And then we're just going to talk about my overall thoughts on everything, because as usual, I have those, which is why I have this channel. So as of right now, Amberlynn is still in Wisconsin with Tommy, which I was going back and I was looking at my old videos on when Amberlynn was going to Wisconsin, and I was laughing because she was packing so much. And I was like, she's treating this trip like I treated my trip going to London in college, and I was going there for 3 months, but like, she's been there a while, so I take back my criticism of how much she packed for this trip, because she's been here forever. She posted 3 videos at the beginning of the month talking about her mental health and like why she had taken a long break from uploading before these ones, and like one more before these 3 were posted. And these 3 videos were called We Need to Talk, Why I Stopped Drinking, and Addressing Everything. In the video called We Need to Talk, she talks about her experiences going to various therapies while she was in foster care, and she also talks a lot about how her mental health had been a big reason for her not posting as regularly as she used to in more recent history. She does make sure to mention that she is still very happy with Tommy, but that she's very depressed, and put a pin in her still defending Tommy in this conversation, because we're gonna keep revisiting that concept, okay? But she brings up her BPD a lot in this video, and she also talks about possibly having seasonal depression, but she talks about them as like 2 separate things, and doesn't even like acknowledge the fact that like one of them could be making the other one worse. And I'm saying this as someone who has experienced this literally her whole life before she moved to Colorado, because as you guys may or may not know, I'm from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I was born and raised there. I lived there all through college. I have regular depression and regular anxiety and OCD. And when the winter hit and we stopped getting sunlight, good Lord, it makes things so much worse. And yeah, when I moved to Colorado, it was a game changer because we get so much sun here. But yeah, like she talks about it as if it's 2 separate things, as if the weather and like sun and whatever might not, or like couldn't be making her BPD worse. I don't know if that's a thing, but like I've experienced it with my own mental illness, so it's just something I wanted to bring up. But this video is basically just like a stream of consciousness about her mental health affecting her uploads and just like her mental health history as a whole. She does talk about, and she finally acknowledges that she does need to go to therapy for her BPD treatment, which was very nice for me to hear as someone who's been screaming along with everybody else, please go to therapy. She said that she's scared to start therapy for it, which I have seen some people criticize her for this, but like I can understand that, because starting treatment for my OCD, or like starting to like tailor my already the therapy I was already going to for my OCD was scary, because I was having to acknowledge a lot of really uncomfortable things that have happened in my brain and in my life because of my OCD that I don't always love acknowledging or talking about with people, but I'm better for it now. But I do understand like being scared to start therapy for something, especially when it's like a specific diagnosis. In the video called Why I Stopped Drinking, she talks about the reason she stopped drinking, which was literally just because Tommy can't drink anymore because of a medical issue that she's been dealing with. But she also mentions that she did find a therapist that she was going to call to start her BPD treatment, which was good to hear. And I don't think I have this in my notes, so I'm just going to talk about it right now. In a future video, she talks about how she did call this therapist but they did not offer the kind of therapy that she thinks would be best for her. Which this is also another topic that, like, when it comes to starting therapy, I understand how it would be scary, because the process of finding a therapist that works for you can be really long and really hard. Like, I lucked out in that I've jived with most therapists that I've had, some more than others now in hindsight, and the one that she just left to go continue on her education and stuff, which made me really sad because she was literally the best therapist I've ever had. It can be really hard, and it can be really just daunting and stuff, especially when you're already not in a good headspace, and that's why you're looking for therapy, right? But yeah, I think she's gonna keep trying. That's what she said, so we shall see. But then she ends this video with a haul. And then in the video called Addressing Everything, she's just answering people's assumptions about her that they sent her on Instagram, which is basically her just like talking about things that people already knew. So there's not really anything of interest in there. I just wanted to talk about these videos overall, just because it does sound like potentially making progress with her mental health treatment, which has been great to hear. But overall, these videos just give big 2019 vibes to me. And if you know anything about Amberlynn and her channel, you will know that she has even said that 2019 was like one of the hardest years of her life on her channel and her personal life and whatever. And I always say when I talk about Amberlynn that I like never try and comment on her appearance or her weight or anything like that. But like, it's so obvious that she has gained more weight, and since being in Wisconsin with Tommy, who is a confirmed feeder, and that is just so concerning to see over and over and over again. And it's so concerning to see it get worse and worse as time goes on. So the one of two major topics in this video are more allegations that have come out against Emily/Tommy, aka Amberlynn's a confirmed feeder girlfriend. Basically, someone who used to be affiliated with Tommy in middle school and high school made themselves known on TikTok as this person, and oh lordy, it's Jordy, who is truly Gore World's strongest investigative soldier. Reached out to them to ask them some questions about their experience with Tommy and whatever, because Jordy originally offered to have this person on his channel on a live stream, whatever, kind of like he did with Erica back in those days, however many, like 3 months ago. They politely declined like being on his channel in that capacity because they weren't really interested in like their 15 minutes of fame. But they hoped that karma would come back to, quote, bite Emily in the ass for ruining their marriage 4 years ago. So it seems like potentially homewrecker Lynn has met her match here based on what this person is saying. But then after that, this person and Jordy just wound up just messaging on TikTok. But basically this person claims that their ex-wife left them for Emily, that they say that they were secretly hanging out with this person's ex-wife, and only 2 weeks after this person and their ex were divorced, Emily and this person's ex were claiming that they were in love. The ex-wife has diabetes, but according to this person, Tommy still fed her things that would not be great for someone who has diabetes, including things like fast food and, quote, elaborate dinners. And this person also claimed that Tommy had this person's ex living in the basement because apparently like the ex-wife snored too loud or like took up too much of the bed, and that the food that Tommy was feeding their ex-wife was making her diabetes worse, and like just go all over the place, like their blood sugar levels, I'm assuming, and stuff go all over the place, and that the ex-wife had a mental diagnosis, and that this person claimed that since Tommy is a psych nurse, which she is, I don't think I've talked about that here, that Emily knows triggers and purposely played into this person's triggers, this person's ex's triggers. And that is something, knowing that Emily is a psych nurse is something that I have like noodled on regarding this when I'm just like making content or like scripting content about it with her and Amber, because Amber is so open about her mental health experiences and stuff on her channel. Like, it's not hard to find out what's going on with her, at least by her accounts. And just because I don't trust Tommy as a person based on everything we know up until this point, I like couldn't help but think like, could she possibly, because in my last video regarding Amberlynn and Tommy, I basically said that I think Amberlynn is being manipulated. And is Amberlynn a manipulator? Absolutely. But I think in this situation, Amberlynn is being manipulated. I just like couldn't help but think that whole time, like, she's a psych nurse, like she knows things about how people with certain personality disorders and stuff, how they work, and I just couldn't get that thought out of my head, so seeing this was really interesting. But this person also claimed that their ex-wife told her that Emily likes, quote, a fat belly laying across her chest, suffocating her while she makes herself happy, pleasures herself, you know? We've seen the photos of Emily / Tommy and her now deceased ex-partner in the content that they used to make together, very much replicating this visual. So those exist. I've never shown them here, but they exist. And then this person just went on to talk about some other shitty things Emily did to other people in high school, like bullying, and things like that. And also just talked more about things like confirming the fact that Tommy is a feeder. So after all of this stuff dropped, I was like pleasantly surprised to see that a lot of the community was skeptical of this person and didn't immediately take their word for certain things. I'm sure obviously there were people out there who did just take everything that this person said, but like I was seeing a lot more skepticism than I was expecting, considering the community surrounding Amberlynn just already straight up does not like Tommy based on what has come out about her. And I thought that they would be eager to like just jump on any new information that came out. But I think it has been confirmed on Kiwi Farms that, which say what you want about Kiwi Farms, but like they do vet like people when they claim to be certain people, make sure that they are those people. And the Kiwi Farms basically did confirm that like these people are who this person is, who they say they are, and confirmed that these things probably allegedly did happen, at least putting them in the places where they happened in the timeline that this person is alleging that they happened. But if the stuff on the farms like isn't enough, after all of this came out, Amberlynn released a video called Tommy Rumors, where she addresses the events that this person talked about regarding their ex and Tommy. Amberlynn says in this video that she believed everyone just took everything as gospel, but like I said, I don't think that's true. Like I saw a healthy amount of skepticism surrounding this, like when I was looking into everything for this video. She goes on to say that everybody wants to hate Tommy for some reason, but we don't know her like she does in person. And when I heard that, immediately I was like, but we do at least know that she is a feeder, and she has made feederism content in the past, and with her super morbidly obese partner, and helped that partner, who is now deceased, reach up to 1,000 pounds, up to like almost 1,000 pounds, I think. And now she is dating you, Amberlynn, who is also super morbidly obese. And that is concerning. Like, that is concerning. I was watching a Karina Kaboom video about all this, and she pointed out a comment on one of Amberlynn's videos where she's like riding hard for Tommy. And, somebody was like, Amberlynn, like, your audience historically has sided with your partners and like favors your partners over you. And this is like the one time where people aren't doing that. And you might want to ask yourself like why that is. And I thought that was like a great point. She also, in this video, before she starts anything, she confirms that she is so happy and in love with Tommy. Again, you cannot watch a video regardless of what it's about, which we're going to talk about later, without Amberlynn talking about how happy she is with this person. But in her like pre-written response to this whole thing, she claims that Jordy fabricated a false storyline and false allegations for views. And she also states that Tommy is the victim in this situation, and that the person that Jordy talked to left out very important information and facts, and that this ex was charged with a felony because of what happened between them. And Amberlynn says that she stands by Tommy because she has always known the full story from Tommy's point of view. And she basically goes on to say that Tommy shouldn't have had her personal life put out there like that and whatever. With this response, I thought it was interesting that Amberlynn didn't immediately go the route of like just discrediting this person like as a whole, which basically confirmed for me that this person is who they say they are and that something did happen. And the allegations that were both brought up by Tommy's ex's ex and by Amberlynn via Tommy, I'm assuming, are all really scary sounding and like disturbing, and I really don't think it's anyone's story to tell but the people involved, including Amberlynn. And Amberlynn is obviously hearing what happened regarding all of this from Tommy's point of view, which is going to have a skew to it as well. And I'm not saying one person or the other is right or wrong or whatever. I'm just putting this all out there. But like, what Amberlynn knows is also probably going to have some bias to it. I don't know. I just don't trust Tommy as a narrator, as a person, just from what I know of her, okay? And I know that's a big assumption to make of somebody that I don't even know, but like just what has come out about this person, I don't trust her. And I think all of these allegations are like so serious and so regardless of who they're towards. And I think Amberlynn's response to it was like very unsurprisingly just like immature and inappropriate. So those are all the new things regarding Tommy and her ex and how she allegedly broke up a marriage and how it was allegedly not a healthy situation. And yeah, so those are out there. All of that has happened. So now, after all this stuff with Tommy happened, Amberlynn posted a video called "My Heart is Broken," in which she tells her audience that her cat Rarity, who has been a part of her channel for almost the entirety of her channel, is missing. People had found posts on missing animal forums and stuff like that, like on Facebook and whatever, about Rarity, and Amberlynn said that she wanted to make this video before like reaction videos started, or reaction channels started talking about it and whatever, which I thought was really weird because I was like, if they didn't and like Rarity doesn't come back, like what was your game plan here? You know what I mean? Like what was your game plan here? Because her animals are a huge part of her channel. Like, people care more about her animals than they care about her, I think. And I mean that. Amberlynn says that she was letting the dogs out into the yard, and she left the door to the yard open for roughly like 20 minutes. And it was in that time that Rarity got outside and has yet to be found. She also talks about how she may not have been like functioning at 100% like mental capacity because of all the mental health stuff she's been going through recently. And I also think she kind of alluded to this stuff regarding the allegations with Tommy, things like that. And all of those things kind of contributed to her leaving the door open. She also talks about how Rarity is an adventurous cat and always has been an adventurous cat. But after crying about all this, which I will say she does look like genuinely distraught in this video and like very much takes ownership for her leaving the door open, she still talks about over and over and over again how Tommy has been so helpful, great in trying to find Tommy. How well Rarity and Tommy got along. How much Tommy loved Rarity. And how without Tommy she'd be lost in this whole situation. And I'm like, girl, nobody gives a fuck about Tommy in this situation. So you don't need to bring her up every 5 minutes. Personally. Sorry, this bit got me heated because before and especially after the video regarding Rarity, people were really concerned about the status of Twinkie. And so, and I think somebody made like a fake missing poster for Twinkie too, which I think is kind of sinister, but okay. And so she posted another short video showing Twinkie, saying that Twinkie's okay. And she was also talking about what her and Tommy have been doing to help get Rarity back. She also posted a video called "The Truth," after a couple pre-recorded videos, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And she was in this video, she was talking more about like how Rarity got out and showing the door that she ran out of and whatever. But the thumbnail for this video is literally her posing like all sad and like teary-eyed with the fucking door that she left open. And I'm just like, girl, be so serious right now. Like, be so for real. Like, oh my God. Like, yes, this is a serious situation. Okay, so in this video, she also says, with the dramatic door thumbnail, she also says that by people calling her neglectful for this happening, that they're also calling every other person this has happened to neglectful. And with that sentiment, I like to give my thoughts on this whole thing. So my biggest issue with this whole trip to Wisconsin, like I've covered, is just the fact that Amberlynn brought her animals with her. And like, now that she's been there for so long, I can kind of understand why she made that decision. But like, bringing a cat, moving, I already talked about this, but like in another video talking about Amberlynn's trip to Wisconsin, cats, when you move them, if they're younger, it's okay, but I think Rarity is like close to like, is either middle-aged or like close to senior age for cats. The older they get, the more harmful it is to them to move them. And like, they get really disoriented and like, it can make them sick. It can just do a whole lot of harm to them. I have 4 cats. I love them to death. They are my babies. I understand that like shit happens and that accidents happen. And like, I have cats, and every apartment I've had in Denver with my cats has always had a door that opens directly outside, which is anxiety inducing every time I open it because I have cats. And because one of them in particular is a little shithead and has run out the door. Luckily there's like stairs that they need to go down and whatever. And they usually just pause, right? So then I can just like scoop them up and plop them back inside. But like, that has happened, right? But like, when I open the door, I am so cautious and so aware that it is open. I go outside to grab whatever I'm grabbing. I shut the door. I open it, make sure there's no cats in my way. I go in the door, shut it. You will never catch me leaving a door open with an animal in my house. Like, that is just not something I could fathom doing, even if I was at my worst mental state. And I think I'm just saying this, like, I get it. Like I said, I get accidents happen. I get shit happens. I get one lapse of judgment or one like just mental moment or whatever can cause this happening. And I understand that. And I'm like, not asking for any bad karma with my pets, please, universe. Like, don't let that happen to me. But I think so many people are just so bothered by this because of Amberlynn's history as just a very neglectful, dare I say, like, bad pet owner. And there's just so much of this documented on her channel that like, now that this has happened, it is just like, everybody's like, are you kidding me? And like I mentioned, right, like with bringing the animals to Wisconsin, like, she didn't, as far as I know, she didn't chip her animals. She didn't chip her animals. She didn't put collars on her animals, which, like, if I was bringing my animals to a whole new state to just stay there temporarily, I would do that as soon as possible. And it's cold and it's rainy and it's snowy and gross in Wisconsin and in the Midwest right now. And I really hope Rarity comes back, and I hope she's like with somebody and they just don't know where to put her. Like, they don't know where she came from, you know, like, I'm only hoping for the best here because like Amberlynn did look distraught here, but like with her history that has been shown on her own channel of how questionable of a pet parent she is, this was just like, And because they're in this new environment, and because Rarity is probably disoriented from being brought to this new environment, she probably doesn't have a good idea of where home is to come back to, which is like so sad to think about. And like, this whole thing is that it's like my worst nightmare. Like, this is losing one of my cats is one of my worst nightmares. Like, and I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. Like, yeah. And so this whole thing with Rarity is just so sad. And with Amberlynn just being home all day, like, all she has to focus on is her pets, like, is her her job, her pets, and her own personal wellness. Like, I don't know. Like, it's so hard because, like, I get shit happens. I understand shit happens. Accidents happen, whatever. But it's just with the history, man. Like, it's so hard to hear that this happened. But I really hope that Rarity comes back, and I hope that she's okay. Yeah. So I'm not happy about this at all. After this, Amberlynn had some pre-recorded content. Tommy took her to see Billie Eilish in Chicago, which I will say, it was fun and cool seeing Amberlynn actually doing something, like going out and doing something cool on her vlog channel, right? Like, that was fun to see. And this was pre-recorded. This happened before Rarity disappeared. And she did thankfully upload these videos with that disclaimer, because a lot of people were like, how are you out doing that? Like, how are you going to Chicago when your cat's missing? Like, yeah. So there's that. Happy that she got to do that. But so my overall thoughts on Amberlynn and Tommy and this whole Rarity situation again is like, it fits with both the situation with her pets and her relationship. If people have to keep asking how your pets are doing, or if so many people keep telling you bad things about your partner, like, it gets to the point where it's like, you have to maybe start realizing that some of these things may be true, right? Or you may need to work on what kind of a pet parent you are. And I know Amberlynn's never going to hear this. And I know even if she does hear it, she's not going to hear it, you know? And I've been in this situation before. If you are constantly having to defend your partner to people who are on the outside looking in, that is cause for some inner work, some reflection, right? Because any partner I have done that with, it has not really ended well, okay? Like, any person I have had to do that with, they've shown their ass to me at one point or another, right? And so it's like, it goes back to my last video on this whole thing where I'm talking about how growing up fat and like whatever, you're told certain things about how you look and how you'll be perceived by romantic partners. And like, if you find someone, it's only going to be because of what's on the inside, and like could not possibly because of what's on the outside. And how like hearing that over and over and over again in like your formative years, regardless of how much you try to not make it affect you, it does affect you, right? And it can make someone who's good at manipulation clock you like that. And it can put you in some really dangerous positions. And I, again, just after seeing all this stuff unfold and seeing Amberlynn's constant defense of Tommy, and as Zachary Michael put it, her Tommy PR tour, I'm just like, when do you get to a point, which I know she probably never will, when do you get to a point where you realize, oh, maybe I do need to think about this? You know, maybe I do need to rethink this person's role in my life. Oh, I've been feeling really depressed for a long period of time to the point where it's affecting my job. Bad things keep happening. I keep having health issues when I'm around this person. Maybe I should like think about that, you know? And but I also think there's something there, and I might be giving Amberlynn too much grace here with this, but because I have experienced this, like growing up fat and dating and whatever, when somebody who knows how to manipulate you starts manipulating you, they know exactly what you want to hear, and they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, and it's going to sound just so good to you, and you're going to defend them till you're blue in the face. And I really think that that's what's happening with Amberlynn and Tommy. And I talked about this in my last Girl World catch up. I'll have it linked. And I think just with even more scary things coming out regarding Tommy, with the context of everything else that has come out about Tommy that is like basically confirmed, I think she's just ignoring so many red flags because this person's just telling her what she wants to hear. And it's sad. And it's really sad. And when you're constantly defending them to people who watch you online, to maybe people in your life, I don't know, when you're talking about your fucking cat who you've had for years being missing, like, and you cannot stop talking about how great your partner has been through all of it, like that, I don't know, man. I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot of feelings, but that's where we're at. If you've been seeing updates and you're like, what is happening? That's the best I've got in terms of an update. Stuff's kind of sad and scary and heavy. And I am worried for Amberlynn. I still am. I always will be in this situation because I think it's has the potential to be really dangerous for her. And that's not fun to see. And I really hope Rarity comes home. I hope she's with somebody that just like scooped her up and doesn't know where she is, and doesn't know where she came from. I hope all that's gonna be okay. I don't know, man. There's a lot of heavy shit going on in girl world now. And it's like not just, it ain't crumble cookies and buzz balls anymore. I'm sorry. I didn't even have that scripted. Okay, I'm gonna cut it here. Thank you so much for watching this video. I always say leave a cat emoji. When I do Amberlynn videos, leave a cat emoji to manifest Rarity's homecoming. Let's do that. But yeah, thanks to Opera for sponsoring today's video. If you want to give it a whirl for yourself, I highly, highly recommend it. The link will be down below in my description. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, drink your water, take your meds. If you are in America and this video goes up when I hope it goes up, have a happy Thanksgiving, and take some time to relax and hang out and eat some food. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.